Study, reflect, and listen to the Lord. Let Him direct your steps. That's how you treasure each day.
Hi, and welcome back to Nation Station. My name is Kimber, and I am here in the heart of Vandalia, Missouri, where today we are going to talk to patrons right off the street, people who are traveling through, unexpected, to see who has been impacted by our police officers, by our EMS, by first responders, by deputies, by sheriffs, by just a good Samaritan. Anyone who's willing to talk to us, we're going to talk to them today, and we're going to find out and promote the positive things that are happening right here in our community. Hope you'll join us and add your own comments below. So we began this part of the episode hoping to talk to citizens and asking them to share, just kind of spontaneously on the spot as they're traveling through, something positive that they've encountered with a police officer or a deputy or a first responder, an EMS. I've got several personal examples, but I wanted to hear from others. So again, if you're listening to this, please share it with others and help us take this spark in a spiritual way, not a literal way, and let us start spreading it. God put on my heart a few weeks ago, actually, I shared with Lewis, it only takes a spark to get the fire going, and soon all those around will warm up and it's glowing. And that's how it is in God's world. That's what we want to start right here in our very own community. You are part of our Facebook community if you're watching this, and we are glad, and we want to encourage you. We want, you're an encouragement to us, and so we work together as a community because that's what a community is. Yes. And we want and need our police officers. I'm not going to get into the negative stuff because I want to keep this positive. So if you have a positive comment to share, please share it. If you have a negative one, please do that personally. I'm open to feedback and suggestions. I want to improve, because this is a work in progress. We are leaping out in faith. I wouldn't say just jumping out or stepping out. We are leaping off,
first.
head first into things that are new to us. And is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. But we feel like it's worthwhile, or we wouldn't be spending our time every week getting together and praying about what God wants to do in our hearts and through our resources and to share some good things. So right now, this week especially, we want to promote the police officers. We want to celebrate them. We want to thank them. So, even if you don't post something, would you at least consider when you see someone, like I ran into this morning, I felt like it was confirmation from the Lord when there was a county stickered vehicle that pulled up at the gas station as I was waiting and just, before we began. And I walked up to them and I said, here's what we're kind of thinking. We want to promote police officers and what you guys do in a positive light. And they were ecstatic. They were really grateful for it. They said, we think that's great. I said, is there any law against it? No, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. So that's nice to hear. So why did we not get people to stop and talk to us?
So you are going to see, if by the time you watch through this, we didn't get any interviews, and the people that we did speak to, like she was saying,
didn't want to be on camera.
Law enforcement, that's their job, and I'm for sure there's a lot of legal things that prohibit them probably from just talking out loud, in public about their job. They've probably got restrictions and guidelines for those things. But the other interaction we got was also very positive, but once again, because of the job that individual was in, did not necessarily...
She couldn't just go on camera and say.
So then we've even been in touch with the City Hall, and the same situation. There are rules and regulations with any job, on how you communicate.
Especially using social media.
Social media
seems to be a negative stigma.
Yeah. Because social media has so few rules on its side, employers and municipalities, the school districts,
Right.
even,
And my job. There's lots of things.
Has to put the rules in on our side of social media.
And it's just easier for them to steer clear of it. They just say no. That way they don't have to monitor everything. And I get that.
Yeah.
But that's why we need you. We need you to share and pass it on.
So, like Kimber said, as this circulates, we want you to, if you have a positive interaction story with our local law enforcement, county law enforcement, even state law enforcement, wherever you might have been, and have a positive story, share it in the comments. Take the initiative on your own site, on your own Facebook page. Go live and share your positive experience with
That would be
law enforcement.
awesome.
Because these are people that it's a very different job. Even we're lucky to live where we do.
Yes,
really,
we are.
We don't have a
Very low crime rate, I would imagine.
We don't have an enormous law enforcement body, but we know them. If not by name, you know their face.
You know who they're related to.
They know us. So we are really blessed to have that kind of situation here, where in the city, and you've got thousands of law enforcement individuals, even when they're working in their own neighborhoods, they may not know everyone. So that changes the way they respond to things, because every situation needs to be addressed as a dangerous situation.
And I want us to be clear too. We know that there is corruption in any job, and any person can be a bad apple. But we don't want that stereotype to be, just misconstrued and say that we don't need. To me, any right-standing citizen that's law-abiding, that is going to appreciate order and respect, and we just want to make sure that we are giving them the respect they deserve. They are risking their lives for very little pay, when you consider what other professions make, and it's to protect us, and they do a lot of good, a lot more good than harm. But of course, we know there are people that make mistakes, and we're not discounting that. We know that happens, but what we're trying to do is just focus on the positives. So.
Keep things balanced. There's so much negative right now, and no matter what media source you're looking at, you're going to hear something negative, and so, like she's saying, we're just trying to put the positive out there and keep things a little balanced. So it's time for you to do your part and share your positive law enforcement interaction story, and let's give our heroes, folks, their due.
That's right.
I wake up every morning and go to a restaurant and cook food. The biggest danger I face in the day is my shoe getting wet and sticking to the floor of the walk-in freezer and tripping.
I was thinking of fire.
Well,
fire hazard. It could be grease
we've
fire.
got suppression for all that stuff,
Okay.
And if you've ever stepped on a frozen floor with something
wet,
you stop in your tracks.
Yeah, that's true. Freezers are killing us.
But they, as one of the individuals we did get to speak to, they interact with the law enforcement.
Yes.
They work hand in hand with first response. Regardless of what your situation is when you call 911, 9 chances out of 10, the police are going to be the first ones that come to the scene of the incident. And if it's a fire, they're going to be the first ones there, 9 chances.
Well, and like she mentioned too, she said they've got to have them,
yeah.
for her work to work, and they've got to have them for social services.
So,
just to protect our children.
There are stories of with children interaction, where these guys are out there vigilant, watching for things that we don't see. they watch our businesses at night. They have a patrol that they do and go around. I remember at one point in time they escorted managers to the bank. I think they still do that, with large deposits and stuff. But
well, don't they still here in town lead a funeral procession?
oh yes,
Through town? I mean, to stop
Yes.
traffic? That's
Yeah.
respect.
So there's a lot of positive. So that's what we want to hear this week. We want to hear those positive stories from you, from your friends. We've got to share this. When you get done watching it, share it, and encourage everyone else to share it and make their comments as well.
And I was trying to think of specific things, even the Vandalia police officers have done for our children, your grandchildren.
Oh, yeah.
Right here in town. Don't they help with like the trick or trunk or treat or whatever it is?
They do that. They
They
do
have a back to school thing, I
back to
think, usually.
school, and then I don't know if they work with the fire department at Christmas time.
Okay, for like the angel tree or something. So
And like you were saying,
you guys may know better than we do. So
sessions.
please help us. We don't want to miscommunicate.
oh,
but
well, then the DARE program even.
Yes,
and
now
then
that's
the
been-
resource officers.
but that's been taken away.
Oh, DARE doesn't. Oh,
No,
that's
and
out.
that's why I wore this shirt. I have kept this shirt when I worked at another school district, another county. It was a wonderful program. We had an officer that came in once a month to teach my 5th grade class a lesson about resisting drugs and violence. And it was powerful. I learned something every year, and I taught multiple years, and there were different police officers, and so everyone handled their program a little bit differently. But for many years now, they've not even had the funding to do that.
Yeah.
And that's tragic, because what's going to keep the next generation from getting into this? That's all around them.
Yeah.
And so again, we want kids to be able to know that they can trust the police officers. We need law enforcement. We need them to be paid to do the service that they do to protect us every day. We have no idea the law and order and things that we are able to go to our jobs. We're able to just basic traffic. If you go to another third world country, believe me, you are going to appreciate. I've been there. You are going to appreciate our stop signs, and that people actually honor most stop signs. I know every now and then you run one, but it's not like in other countries where they just have no regard for any kind of rules of the road. You talk about praying. You pray hard. But no, seriously. But consider some of these things. What is something nice or helpful that you've witnessed a police officer do? I mean, it used to be stories about even just rescuing a cat from the tree. I doubt that they could do that right now. They probably need to be called for more, I shouldn't say more important things, but, but they've really gone. I know that there's been some stray dogs out here that were big and kind of scary. I don't remember what it doesn't matter what breed they are, but, they helped contain them so that they could get them back to their rightful owners. In what ways do you support the officers? And why? How should you respond if a law enforcement officer approaches you? That's what I was wanting to really ask somebody.
Yeah.
But nobody would let me talk to them on camera. Anyway.
Well, I was always taught it was yes, sir, no, sir.
Exactly. Because
you
they
communicate. Use your words, I guess they say now.
That's right.
Use your words and respectfully use your words.
I have had a bad record of having a heavy foot, so I've had my encounter with a few speeding tickets, and so anyway, I've gotten pulled over before, and I always try to make sure my hands are up, and I stop and I look at them right in the eye, and I do answer, yes sir, and no sir, and I ask them, is it okay for me to get my insurance, and my car, my driver's license card is usually in my purse, so I let them, I ask them, can I get it out of my purse? It's in my billfold, and things like that first. So yeah, it's probably bad that I know all that. Had to do that too many times. But and I've tried crying even to get out a ticket. That didn't work.
Oh my.
So anyway.
So tears and all?
Oh yeah. Which didn't help. I've sassed. That doesn't help. That actually is worse.
Oh no.
Yeah. I've been nice and respectful most of the time, I will say. But one time I just was so heartbroken. I was just emotional and I cried and still got my ticket. Wes, oh no, my husband, that's a whole different story. But that's okay, he usually doesn't speak, so he doesn't have to deal with it as often as. And actually, let me say, since I have my updated vehicle with more safety features, it beeps at me now if I go so many miles over the speed limit. So knock on wood, so far I have not got a speeding ticket in this vehicle.
It's got cruise control, right?
It does have cruise, and I use it.
Yeah,
Use it.
okay.
And I slow down. I'm getting older and wiser. Slowing down, allowing more time. You know what? If I'm late, I'm late. So, all those things too. Would you consider getting into the public service field under the current circumstances? Why or why not? I'd love to hear your answers. What about you, Lewis?
Oh no, I don't think I could pass the physical.
No, I probably couldn't either. Kind of out of shape.
And I don't run all that fast, so if it was foot chase, they'd
Right,
break
right.
away. So I probably would not make a very good law enforcement officer.
No, me neither. I'm way too short-tempered. I don't want to taser everybody, man. Just get them down. And I know that's not right. So,
Yeah, so
Probably a
we
good thing
will
I'm
not be
not.
becoming officers.
but thank God there are people who are willing to step up and do that.
Yeah, and it's, you know, there are special kind of people all around the world, and it takes special people. That's, I guess, how we kind of sort ourselves out by our occupations.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, we do.
People that are good or that are suited for law enforcement. A lot of what I've seen, it's something that is early on in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
They like people to follow the laws, the rules.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got a friend that was going to go into the military. That didn't work, so he went into one of our classmates, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking of one too.
Law enforcement, and that's what he will retire from.
Sure, it
And
just fits him so well, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
So,
And since I'm bossy, that's why I became a teacher. That just suited me so well. Got paid to boss people around. But no, I cannot emphasize this enough. We need our tax dollars to go to help protect us
right.
and support us. And I don't know of a better way than through supporting our public service
Right.
people, our law enforcement.
Now, one thing I will add, not to get political, but on our local and our county and even our state level, when you're voting, that is something that you need to press against your candidate. You know, that they support law enforcement. And, you know, what is their plan for law enforcement budgets and so forth. Because that's one way that we can support
That's right.
our law enforcement, is making sure that the people, the leadership we choose, is going to do our bidding.
That's
You know,
right.
and our bidding is partly making sure that our law enforcement is taken care of,
That's right.
properly funded.
That's a great idea.
You know,
Do
so
all the due diligence.
and that goes with anything. You know, press your candidates and make sure they are willing and able and knowledgeable. You know, to address the things that you are concerned about. You know, that's the best way to pick a candidate.
You don't just have to be a couch potato and just sit back and just, eat up whatever is being fed to you. Do your own research
Right.
and ask.
And one last thing, not to get political, but I want to remind everyone, while we have the election thing going on, there are people that are in office right now that aren't in an election period. In those situations, we need to engage them. They have Facebook pages. You can find their addresses, their phone numbers, their email addresses, because all this is public record when they work for us, when they're our employees. So if this is something that you're concerned about,
If you're not, you should be.
here in Audrain County, your district, your state, those people work for us. And so if this is a concern where you're at, where you're watching this at, that's the way to deal with it. That's the way we've got to start dealing with our employees. Make sure that they are doing what we want. And when they're not, we've got to communicate that.
Right.
Our bosses do that.
Sure.
We're their boss, and that's what we got to do. So
And it wouldn't hurt to, thank them for doing a job well done.
Yes.
You know, there are several out there that are really going to bat and going above and beyond, that are standing up and speaking out, unafraid of the consequences politically, that you know, they may not be back in office, but yet they're still willing to put themselves on the line. So let's thank them. Let's get behind them, support them, and let them know how much we appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot today.
I think so too.
So now the thing is, the backside of it, your comments, your law enforcement interaction stories. You know, this is an opportunity to point out what the heroes have done. Showcase the heroes.
Yes, please do.
The things. So
Help us celebrate them.
So number 1, subscribe to Nation Station YouTube channel. Number 2, subscribe on Facebook and follow. Number 3, share this video. This is a really important one this week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Looking forward to hearing them. I'd like to share with you a couple proverbs today from chapter 11 that I think applies to our All-American episode this month. The whole city celebrates when the godly succeed. They shout for joy when the wicked die. Upright citizens are good for a city and make it prosper, but the talk of the wicked tears it apart. Without wise leadership, a nation falls. There is safety in having many advisors. Who are your advisors? What voices are you listening to? Let it be the right ones. God bless you. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us at Nation Station. To find out more, just click on any of these links and subscribe to our channel.